Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for signing up for a meal delivery service without my fiancé? I, female 27, have been with my fiancé Mark, male 30, for about 4 years now. Last year we decided to move in together. In December he proposed and I was over the moon. One of the things I adore about Mark is that he's an incredible chef, so I was pretty excited to spend more time cooking meals together. Unfortunately, that's no longer happening. I am an athlete and have maintained essentially the same weight since I was a teen. I don't closely track calories, but I am pretty conscientious about what I put into my body, and Mark and I try to cook healthy most of the time. I don't weigh myself regularly, but I could tell something was wrong when my body started looking much softer late last year. My diet and exercise routine hadn't really changed. I stepped on the scale and nearly cried when I discovered I had gained almost 20 pounds since I last checked in. I immediately took 3 pregnancy tests. Thankfully, they were negative. At first, I thought maybe I had actually just overdone it through the holidays and not noticed. I started skipping breakfast and logging every single thing I ate and was floored when the scale didn't budge. I was so afraid that something was seriously wrong I booked a doctor's appointment. They ran some blood work, checked my thyroid, and a number of other things, yet another pregnancy test. Yay, but they all came back completely normal. I was at my breaking point. Instagram had started serving me non-stop detox, fitness, meal prep, and pharmaceutical weight loss content. It was driving me insane. I decided I was going to eliminate myself as a variable, so I signed up for one of those healthy meal service delivery kits with pre-portioned meals. Mark found the box before I did and went ballistic. He started yelling about how I was being irresponsible with my money, how it's such a waste, terrible for the environment, and how I thought I was too good for his cooking. While we don't actually pool finances at the moment, we generally run larger purchases and big commitments by each other. I didn't mention the meal service kit because I can easily afford it, and, on some level, I knew Mark would be really disappointed that I didn't want to cook with him anymore. I don't want to eat this stuff forever, it's so bland and boring, but the weight has finally started falling off. Am I an idiot? Everyone sucks here. Honestly, I'd be upset too if my live-in partner decided that they were going to start eating all their meals separately from me, especially if I was cooking for or with them on a regular basis. Did you ever talk to him about your concerns with his food possibly making you gain weight? It sounds like you blindsided him with this because you knew he wouldn't like it, which isn't great communication. If you don't feel comfortable talking to him about this stuff, then you most likely have bigger problems than just the scale. You're an idiot. You are putting unreasonable expectations on your body. You should be talking to a nutritionist/dietitian. Which one has a degree? I forget, but go to that one, and have a professional give oversight to your diet. A meal kit is just another gimmick diet and you fell for it. Also, after 4 years together, you and your fiancé have built a food culture and love language around shared food. You chucked it out the window for a gimmick. Was it worth it? Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my wife that if she wants to go on a solo trip to Wales that I would go on the Europe trip we've been planning by myself? My wife of 9 years loves to travel. I do too, but up until recently, for personal reasons that I'm not comfortable talking about, I couldn't travel internationally. Nevertheless, throughout our relationship, she has gone on vacation to other countries by herself or with a friend multiple times. It hurt every time that I couldn't go with her, and I would express my desire for her to not go, and instead we could go somewhere stateside together. But traveling was so important to her that she booked the trips and went anyway. In her words, going somewhere in the US was lame. Eventually, I accepted that it was wrong of me to try to keep her from going just because I couldn't, and I supported her going on the trips, although it still always hurt. I was able to support it in part because she always told me she would love nothing more than for me to join her on the trips, and that when I was able to, we would always go together. Fast forward to now. I'm finally able to go on international trips with her, and indeed, I've been planning a trip with her all year to Europe. We've talked about it, and have been looking forward to it immensely. She had to go out of town to a work conference for 6 days, and while I wasn't happy about being the lone parent with my 2-year-old, I knew it was for work so it couldn't be helped. Right before she left, she told me that her friend in Wales had offered to her that if she came out, she would show her the sights and be her guide, so to speak. She then asked me to think about her going on a solo trip over there in May. I told I would think about it. The week she was away at the work conference was absolutely exhausting. I spent all but 60 minutes of my day either taking care of my daughter or at work, and after the 6 days I really didn't want to do it again for 14 days while she went on another trip. When she got home, I told her, I don't think we can do that Wales trip this year, but her friend isn't going anywhere, so maybe we can do it in the next couple years when our daughter is a little older and easier to handle solo. She got upset, and we got into an argument over it. I felt like all those years and times that she had told me she wanted to travel with me and that we would travel together as soon as we could were a lie. She claimed by not letting her go that I was being controlling, and she has a history of making her mind up on something, and if I don't agree, she thinks I'm being controlling. I was frustrated and angry and hurt, so I told her, fine. You go on your trip to Wales and I'll go on a trip to Europe by myself. This really pissed her off, and now we're both angry at each other, and I need to know, am I the idiot? Not an idiot. Just because of childcare. It isn't fair of her to expect you to be a solo parent for that long if it's not necessary. You guys should be having a family holiday, and you're not being controlling. You're expressing an opinion and trying to work out a solution to a problem, which is perfectly okay. You're an idiot. Everyone is making it seem like she canceled their big trip for this other side thing. She got invited to something months in advance that in no way affected their other trip. As for childcare, I need more information on the day-to-day care and who does what. You wanting your wife to cancel her trip over you, not wanting to take your kids seems like maybe you don't do much of the childcare.